Hare Krishna. I offer my humble obeisances to all the devotees who assembled for this morning's Bhagavatam class. Today we are discussing the sixth canto, ninth chapter, the appearance of demon Vritrasur. This episode of Vritrasur is one of the most exciting, heart-touching episode in Bhagavatam of a Vaishnava. And as all of you know, Vritrasur was a great devotee in his past life as Chitraketu Maharaj. But because of passing some comments on Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati cursed him to become a demon. But becoming a demon uh, did not reduce his devotion, but increased his devotion. This is the speciality of curses given by great personalities. Even a curse coming from a devotee is a blessing. We see Mother Parvati cursed Chitraketu Maharaj not out of grudge or hatred. In fact, while cursing, she said, "My dear son, become a demon." What does it mean? Prabhupada writes in the purport that sometimes when the child becomes mischievous, naughty, a mother may punish the child. But although mother punishes the child, the mother is a genuine, sincere well-wisher of the child. Similarly, when Mother Yashoda punished Krishna in Damodar Leela by tying him to a wooden grinding mortar, she is just exhibiting her motherly affection towards Krishna. Similarly, when Parvati Devi cursed Chitraketu Maharaj, she was also exhibiting her motherly affection towards Chitraketu Maharaj, correcting the behavior of a naughty son who has the audacity and boldness to comment on seniors also. Shiva was a senior devotee. Chitraketu was a junior devotee. Both were devotees. Both were devotees of the same deity, same Lord, Sankarshan. Lord Shiva meditates on Lord Sankarshan, and Chitraketu Maharaj also chanted Sankarshana mantra for 1 week, and he received the darshan of Sankarshan, and he offered heartfelt prayers. In the 16th chapter, you can see. So both are devotees of the Lord, but one devotee is superior, one devotee is younger. So it's an etiquette that uh, this Chitraketu Maharaj was not expected to pass such derogatory comments on Lord Shiva. Definitely, he never had any malicious intention in his heart. He never wanted to disrespect Lord Shiva or insult Lord Shiva or defame Lord Shiva. In fact, Chitraketu Maharaj was concerned about the pure reputation of Lord Shiva. Shiva is reputed as someone who is self-controlled, sense-controlled. If he is sitting in an assembly of great sages with his wife in his lap, what will common people think about him? They may think that Shiva is a sense gratifier. Thus, they may criticize Lord Shiva. And because of criticizing such an exalted devotee like Lord Shiva, they will get affected. They will go to hell. So, to protect all those people from offending Lord Shiva and to protect Lord Shiva from being criticized by some people, he gave a feedback to Lord Shiva. But in doing so, he himself offended Lord Shiva. You see, sometimes our intention may be pure, but if our action is not appealing, we may end up committing offenses. Pure intentions are good. In fact, they're most important. But when the emotions are not expressed in a palatable way, in an acceptable way, in a digestible way, in a relatable way, we may end up in so many difficulties, right? Better stay silent than express a concern in a unpalatable way. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam jayat. Yes, satyam. Chitraketu Maharaj's words are satyam, truthful. He has good intention. Priyahitam, definitely he had a good intention, well-wishing intention. But his vakyam, his statements are udvegakaram. They are causing some agitation in the minds of people. And in fact, all the personalities sitting there, all the sages, including Lord Shiva, they all understood the intentions of Chitraketu Maharaj and they kept silent. They did not speak a single word. They understood his intentions. But Mother Parvati became very offended. She said, is he the appointed administrator or chastiser to punish people like us? Shameless people like us? Bhrigu does not know dharma. Narada Muni does not know dharma. Brahma has forgotten dharma, it seems. Four Kumaras also have forgotten dharma, it seems. Only he understands dharma and he is correcting adharmic people like us. What is this happening? My dear son, become a demon. So Chitraketu Maharaj's concern may be valid. He never wanted to disrespect Lord Shiva. Yet his expressions were little unpalatable. He spoke about Lord Shiva publicly, repeatedly, and loudly. Krishna Thakur says, publicly, repeatedly, loudly. If he had a concern, he would have taken Shiva in confidence and had expressed that concern. That's one option. But he was in the airplane, standing in the airplane. From there, from a higher altitude, from there he was looking at Shiva, who is sitting in an assembly of sages. And from there he passed comment little loudly and repeatedly and boldly, confidently. And his guru was also sitting there, Narada Muni. So that boldness wasn't expected from Chitraketu Maharaj. So, and on top of it, Shiva is very exalted. His apparent, what to say, unconventional behavior. We should not say misbehavior. Shiva can never misbehave. That's an offense if you say that. Apparent unconventional behavior doesn't affect him. But it definitely affects someone who criticizes him. That's the point. So, tejiyasam nadoshaya. If we touch clean urine, we'll get affected. We'll get contaminated. We have to take a bath. But if sun evaporates urine and moisture from urine and stool, he will not get affected. So, knowing that, we should have some, what to say, reservations in expressing our concerns about very elevated personalities, very senior personalities, especially Shiva is the best of all Vaishnavas. Anyways, even Mother Parvati was also acting as an instrument in the hands of Lord Sankarshan, and by the inspiration of Lord Sankarshan, Mother Parvati cursed Chitraketu Maharaj in this way. My dear son, become a demon. And he became a demon. And of course, before becoming a demon, he got down from the airplane. He humbly folded his hands in front of Mother Parvati and said, my dear mother, I never meant anything wrong. But whatever you think is wrong, let that be wrong. I'm not justifying it. I'm not defending myself. I'm not trying to get votes. Oh, all the great sages are there. Shiva is there. All of you kept silent. She's cursing me. Can you please specify her and then try to change my curse or tone down the punishment? Or did I commit a really grave offense? What do you think? What do you think? What is your opinion? What is your opinion? He did not get into sending an opinion poll amongst all the sages. He just accepted it. He just accepted with great tolerance, with humility, with submissiveness, considering her mother, addressing her mother, my dear mother, I did not mean anything wrong, but I don't want to justify what I have done. So whatever you think is wrong, let that be wrong, and may I be punished for it. So he humbly apologized because when a husband is criticized in public, a wife naturally becomes affected, right? So he understood her emotions. He acknowledged her emotions and he said sorry. And he left. And he became a demon. Then he became Ritarasur. Now there is another background here. Uh, because of disrespecting his guru, Indra lost his position. Indra was the king of heaven, and Indra lost his position because of not welcoming his Guru Brihaspati when he entered the heavenly assembly. He just took him for granted. Oh, my Guru has been coming to the heavenly assembly every day. What should I do now? What kind of special reception am I supposed to give now? So he just kept quiet. Sometimes when we don't notice a person's arrival and uh, and we kind of don't welcome them or receive them when you are the host, that at least is little considerable. Even some people were cursed even for such unintentional uh, cold reception also. You know that in examples like Indradyumna Maharaj was engaged in his worship. Then Agastya Muni came. Agastya Rishi said, "Hey, he's not welcoming me. He doesn't know etiquettes. Uh, he's sitting there like an elephant. Let him become an elephant." He became a Gajendra. You know that. Then Shamik Rishi was meditating on the Lord. When Shamik Rishi was meditating on the Lord, Parikshit Maharaj came there and asked him, "Can you give me some water?" But Shamik Rishi did not respond because he was in meditation, genuinely. It's not that he is deliberately ignoring Shamik Rishi. He was in a different world. He was in trance. He was in samadhi. Therefore, he could not welcome Parikshit Maharaj. But Parikshit got offended. He kept a dead snake around his neck. That was a mistake, of course. Then we have Lord Shiva meditating on Daksha, meditating on Paramatma. Then Daksha came and he became offended. Why Shiva is not getting up? Why he's not standing up when I came? So even unconscious, unintentional ignoring is also uh, you know taken seriously by some people. But here Indra noticed his guru's arrival. Indra has seen Guru Brihaspati coming inside. Still, he's in his own world. He did not acknowledge his presence, not going, getting up, offering obeisances or receiving them, speaking some sweet words, offering a seat. So many things a disciple can do. So, disciple and guru, that's one relationship. Second, he's a Brahmana and he's a Kshatriya king. So, from that perspective, also, even if he's an ordinary Brahmana, he's supposed to receive him with respect. What to speak of that Brahmana being a guru himself? Still, Indra did not show that etiquette. So, he lost his position. To cut the long story short, he lost his position as the king of heaven. Then he went to Brahma. Then Brahma chastised him. Brahma gave a feedback. So Brahma can give feedback to Indra. But Chitraketu cannot give feedback to Shiva. You got it? Etiquettes. So Brahma chastised Indra. But anyways, I have to do something to reinstate all these devatas back in their positions because we cannot allow the demons to rule the kingdom, rule the universal government system. So what did Brahma do? Brahma directed Indra and all the devatas to uh, Vishwarup. He said he knows Narayana Kavacha and he will teach you Narayana Kavacha. And by his assistance, you can regain your kingdom. Then all the devatas went to uh, Vishwarup, and Vishwarup taught Narayana Kavacha to our Indra. And Indra, with the power of this Narayana Kavacha, this protective armor that invokes the protection of multiple incarnations of the Lord, multiple forms of the Lord, at multiple places, at multiple times, he regained his heavenly opulence. And one day he saw Vishwarup offering some oblations in a sacrifice in the name of the demons, because he's connected to the demons through his mother. So Indra became very insecure. He cut his heads. Another guru aparadh he did. Not just neglecting the guru, but killing the guru. So, and eventually he will lose his opulence also. But before that, there are some interesting incidents that are taking place. Indra, uh, he offended Vishwarup, and Vishwarup's father Tvashta became very revengeful towards Indra. He said, "Now I need a son who can kill Indra." So he conducted a sacrifice, and from the sacrificial fire, Vritrasur appeared. And this Vritrasur is Chitraketu Maharaj. Now, two stories are meeting here. So, from that sacrificial fire, Vritrasur appeared. But this Vritrasur is not that son who had the ability to kill Indra, but who was supposed to be killed by Indra. Because Tvashta chanted the mantras in a wrong manner, with wrong intonation. Instead of getting a son who can kill Indra, he got a son who can be killed by Indra. Pronunciation mistakes. Uh, these are pronunciation mistakes are not taken so seriously in bhakti culture. But as much as possible, we can try to pronounce if we have the ability. Not that we deliberately mispronounce Sanskrit words. So Vritrasur appeared. Now this Vritrasur came to attack the Devatas. So that's the context of this current story, current shloka that we have just recited. Vritrasur came to fight with the Devatas. And Devatas threw their weapons. And Vritrasur swallowed them. As if they are like biscuits or chocolates or whatever. He swallowed them. And they were bewildered. They ran away. They came to the shore of Milk Ocean. They said, "Oh Lord, only you can protect us." So that's the context of this shloka. So whenever the Devatas have some difficulties, they come to uh, seek shelter of the Lord. So that's the speciality. As Prabhupada writes in one of the purports in the third canto, fifth chapter, there are some people who have pure consciousness of rendering service to the Lord only. And there are some people who have an impure consciousness to lord over this material nature. But there are a third category. There is a third category of people who have some pure desire to serve the Lord and also an impure desire to control this world. Such people are made as managers of this material universe as the Devatas. Some Devatas are pure devotees also, but many Devatas are mixed devotees. They want to serve the Lord also, at the same time, they want to control this material nature also. So their controllership becomes a service to the Lord. So these Devatas, who were not pure devotees, who were mixed devotees, they also do some mistakes. Indra, Varuna, Agni, sometimes they also do some mistakes. But the good side of their personalities is that although they do some mistakes, they realize the mistakes, they regret for the mistakes, they go and beg forgiveness for their mistakes, and they seek shelter of Lord Brahma or Lord Vishnu. First, they go to Brahma. If it is beyond Brahma's ability to solve, then they will go to Vishnu. Or Brahma personally takes them to Vishnu. Earlier, when they lost their heaven, when when Indra offended Brihaspati, then they went to Brahma. Brahma gave them a solution. So this time, when Vritrasura attacked them, they went to Vishnu. Their prayer is, "Oh Lord, you have descended in so many forms to kill so many demons. Now you please descend in some form to kill this demon Vritrasura." As Ramachandra, you have killed Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and other demons. Krishna killed so many demons like Vatsasur, Bakasur, Vyamasur, Arishtasur, Tranavarta, Putana, so many such demons. And Parshuram killed Kartavirya Arjun. Different incarnations of the Lord subdued. They are known to subdue different demons or demoniac people. So the request of these devatas is that, "Oh Lord, can you please take some incarnation and protect us from this Vritrasur, kill Vritrasur." And Prabhupada comments in this purport by quoting Chaturvidha bhajanti imam jana sukritino Arjuna. There are some people who uh, go to temple or go to the shelter of the Lord only to seek relief from miseries. The relief seekers, artha bhaktas, relief seekers. मंदिर गया तो शांति मिलता है. They are not so much interested in worshipping the Lord and selfless devotional service, etc., etc. but they want peace of mind. They want relief from anxieties. They want their distresses be uh, mitigated. But even that kind of approach towards the Lord is also good. It may not be the best. It's not ahituki apratihata bhakti. It's not anyabhilashita sunyam bhakti. Mhm. But still, although it is artha bhakti, there is bhakti there. Mhm. So even such people also are accommodated by the Lord, and eventually their materialistic tendencies will go away and bhakti will remain. In sakama bhakti, sakama, how long sakama can remain? For a short while. Bhakti will remain and sakama will go away. So we can never underestimate the potency of pure devotional service. Although a devotee may have certain uh, bad intentions or bad desires or bad behavioral patterns or whatever, somehow by sticking to the path of bhakti, they will be purified eventually. Dhruva Maharaj approached the Lord only to take revenge on his stepmother with envy and hatred towards his stepbrother, and with a material ambition to attain a position superior to his great grandfather Brahma. But after 6 months of practicing bhakti in Vrindavan, under the guidance of Narada Muni, with the blessings of Mata Suniti, there's a transformation in Dhruva's heart. So he was saying, Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvaime prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayanam yenanja solbada muru vyasanam bhavabdhim neshye bhavad gunakatham mritapana. Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvaime prasango. He was desiring for the association of devotees and hear Harikatha in that association. He has forgotten all the previous desire he had by practice of bhakti. So bhakti can eradicate our sinful proclivities or material desires also. If we observe ourselves in the practices of bhakti nicely, abhideya. And similarly, Gajendra also initially approached the Lord only for protection from this crocodile. But ultimately, Gajendra, towards the end of his prayers, he said that, Oh Lord, I just don't want protection from crocodile only. I ultimately want protection from this ignorance, from this bodily conception, from this false identification that I'm an elephant. I'm the king of elephants. I'm the king of jungle, Gajendra. Please relieve me from this ignorance. So, devotee, although a devotee may initially take shelter of the Lord to be relieved from distress, ultimately, devotee desires that he or she be relieved from ignorance, false ego, so that they can exclusively take shelter of Krishna, not just take shelter of Krishna only to be relieved from some distress. Gajendra prayed like that. संसाराम्भसि संभृत भ्रम भरे गंभीरता पत्रय ग्राहेणाभिगृहीत मुग्रगतिना क्रोशन्तमन्तर्भयात् दीप्त्रेणाद्य सुदर्शनेन विबुधा क्लान्तिच्छिदाकारिणा चिन्ता सन्तति रुद्धमुद्धर हरे मच्चित्तदन्तीश्वरम्. This is the prayer of a devotee. Samsarambhasi sambhrita brahma bhare. Samsara ambhasi means this material world is like a samsara. Is like a ocean. Samsarambhasi. Sambhrita brahma bhare. We are immersed, we are drowning in this ocean of material existence, and Brahma Bhare, this ocean of material existence, is filled with so many bewilderments, distractions, allurements. Brahma Bhare, filled with Brahma only. When you are doing Brahmanda Brahman, we have to encounter so many Brahmas, illusions, temptations, allurements. Samsarambhasi sambhrita brahma bhare gambhirata patraya. Apart from allurements and temptations, Brahma, there are tapatrayas also. There are threefold material miseries also. Gambhirata patraya grahena abhigrihita mugragatina kroshantamantar bhayat. Firstly, the material world is like an ocean and it has so many waves of miseries. Hmm. and it also has so many whirlpools of temptations and allurements. On top of it, the person who is drowning in this material ocean also is being caught by the crocodile of Maya. Grahenabhigrihita mugragatina. Graha, this crocodile, Grahena abhigrihita, has caught my leg. Ugragatina, very fiercely. Gajendra was thinking, this crocodile may leave me after 1 or 2 days, or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. 1 week passed, and 10 weeks passed, and 10 years passed, and 100 years passed. The crocodile was not leaving him only. Sometimes the problems in this world are so intense that they don't go away. Agama, apayino, anitya. Not necessarily anitya. There can be nitya also. Of course, samsara itself is not nitya. But within one lifetime, a problem can be permanent, can be there throughout the lifetime. Right? A problem may not be agama, apayino, only agama, no apayino. It can only come, it cannot go. Sometimes you go to doctor, they will say, okay, fine, take this medicine, in 1 week, it will be all right. Sometimes the doctor may say, you have to live with this problem whole life. Nitya means nitya within one lifetime. So, for 1,000 years, this crocodile was catching Gajendra. Grahenabhigrihita mugragatina kroshantam antarbhayat. Akroshantam antarbhayat. There is bhaya, there is so much of fear, so much of anxiety within, terror within the heart of Gajendra. Akroshantam means crying very piteously. For 1,000 years, nobody is there to rescue Gajendra. There are so many elephants. They are also crying, seeing the condition of Gajendra. They had the intention to help him, but they don't have the ability to help him. And the Devatas are watching the whole show. They had the ability to help Gajendra. They had no intention to help Gajendra. In this world, we may find people who have the ability to help us, but they have no intention to help us. And some people have the intention to help us, but they have no ability to help us. Some people have capability, they don't have compassion. Some people have compassion, but they don't have capacity to save us, to protect us. But only the Lord has both. Therefore, Gajendra is saying, whoever that Lord may be, I offer this prayer to that Lord. Whoever, to whomsoever it may concern, I am offering this prayer. So whoever has all these qualities that I am describing in this prayer, let him come and protect me. Grahena abhigrihita mugragatina kroshantamantarbhayat deeptrena adya sudarshanena vibudha klantichida karina. Here, the devotee is saying, this is not Gajendra's prayer. Gajendra is only an analogy in this prayer. Deeptrena adya sudarshanena vibudha. The devotee is saying that, oh Lord, please release adya, today, release your Sudarshana chakra. And what is the capacity of the Sudarshan chakra? Deeptrenadya sudarshanena vibudha klantichida karina. The Sudarshan chakra has the track record of protecting even great devatas also from the difficulties. What to speak of an insignificant elephant? What to speak of the problem of an insignificant conditioned soul? Oh Lord, you can easily relieve me from difficulties, please. Please release your Sudarshan chakra. Deeptrenadya sudarshanena vibudha klantichida karina. Chinta santati ruddha muddhara hare chitta dantishwaram. My chitta, my mind is like the dantishwaram. Danti means one who has big dantas. That is elephant. Dantishwara means Gajendra, the best of all elephants. My chitta dantishwaram, my mind is like that Gajendra. Just like Gajendra is caught up in that lake by that crocodile, similarly, my mind is caught up in this material ocean that is filled with and also infested with so many crocodiles of different other kinds of anarthas. Only your Sudarshan Chakra can release me from this bondage. Oh Lord, please release this Sudarshan Chakra. Save my mind. The prayer of a devotee is not save me from a difficulty, but save my mind from being absorbed in the difficulties in this material world. Please elevate my mind. Please elevate my consciousness to a higher plane from where the red signals of distress and the green signals of happiness are of no relevance to me. When you're traveling in the road, green signal may allow you to move ahead, and red signal will stop your car. But when you're traveling in an airplane, that red signal or the green signal they are of no relevance to you. Similarly, when our consciousness goes to a higher plane through prayer to Krishna, through chanting the holy names of Krishna, by hearing Harikatha, by studying Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, when our conscious and failures, these temptations and allurements, these happinesses and distresses will not affect us. They are of no relevance to us. And that's what is the ultimate prayer of a devotee. All the devotee may come to the Lord to eradicate sin, difficulties. The devotee will eventually, by the Lord's mercy, will pray, please eradicate my ignorance, my false ego, which is the cause of these difficulties. Let me elevate my consciousness to a higher plane where I serve you, love you. We saw the transformation in Gajendra. We saw the transformation in Dhruva and many other people. And as far as Devatas are concerned, they are also praying to the Lord for release from these material difficulties. So, will they one day pray to the Lord for release from ignorance? They may. Prabhupada says, if their controlling tendency reduces and if their service attitude increases, one day they'll become pure devotees. Mixed devotees can become pure devotees. But if their service attitude reduces and controlling tendency increases, then Krishna has to come and pull their ear. That's what he did with Indra. That's what he did with Brahma. Right? So the Lord does not interfere with the independence. If you don't want to surrender to me, no problem. Continue in the samsara. No issue. I'm okay. But if you want to surrender to me, I give you all assistance. I give you all support. I will purify your desires also. If you desire to purify your desires, I will purify your desires. If you desire to hold on to your material desires, you're not aspiring for purification, what can I do? Continue. Continue with your material desires because of avidya. Avidya, kama, karma bhi. That will lead to klesha. Avidya means ignorance of your spiritual identity, false ego. That avidya leads to kama, material desires. And kama leads to karma, material actions. Karma leads to klesha, material reactions in the form of difficulties. So this cycle will continue as long as we desire to hold on to our material desires. But if we desire to give up our material desires, then Krishna will assist us in doing the needful. And while offering prayers to the Lord to get released from this Vritrasur's attack, the Devatas are also offering some pure glorification of the Lord. That is 43rd shloka. We just came to the main shloka now. All this is prelude. So they are saying, "O Lord, you are omniscient, and therefore you know very well why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet." Prabhupada says, you don't have to even convey what's your problem to the Lord. He knows already. He knows more than you. Sometimes we may not realize that we are in a problem, but he knows we are definitely in a problem. Right? He knows more details. So you already know. We have taken shelter of your lotus feet. Now the rest of the shloka is only glorification of the Lord's lotus feet. They say, your lotus feet provide shade that give relief from material disturbances. So shade means, you see Vrindavan Bihari standing or any Krishna deity standing. So there, he doesn't stand straight. So one foot is there and one foot is just lifted like this, right? So there is shade under that other foot. So that shade destroys our ignorance. That shade gives us shelter from all disturbances. This is from the third canto of Bhagavatam. Again, it's repeated. We have taken shelter of your lotus feet, which provides shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. Since you are the supreme spiritual master and you know everything, we have sought shelter of your lotus feet for instruction. For inspiration, for instruction, for protection, devotees take shelter of the Lord. Please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. Your lotus feet are the only shelter for fully surrendered devotee and are only means for subduing all the tribulations of this world. So Prabhupada gives an analogy. When you are walking under scorching sun, you are sweating and you're tired, you're fatigued, you go under a tree that can give you shade. So that shade of the tree can relieve you from all the fatigue that you have acquired by walking in scorching sun, isn't it? You will get some cool breeze, or at least you will get some shade on your head. Similarly, when you are walking, suddenly there is rain. You feel you become wet. Then you run under some shelter, under some tree, under some chatri. So that gives you some protection. Similarly, when we are traveling in this material world, we encounter so many material disturbances. We need shade, we need shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord so that we become undisturbed by those miseries, right? We get some relief. And that's how the Lord's lotus feet are described to relieve devotees from all disturbances, relieve them from ignorance. Now let us see what is this concept of taking shelter of the Lord, lotus feet of the Lord. What is this lotus feet? Padaravinda, Pankaja Anghri. So Bhagavatam and many other scriptures are filled with descriptions of the lotus feet of the Lord. What is this lotus feet? What is the act of taking shelter of the lotus feet? The devotees of the Lord consider the feet of the Lord as lotuses. Hmm. Because lotus is considered the most beautiful object in this world. So the Lord's feet are considered with lotuses. Just like honeybees constantly pursue lotuses and take honey from that lotus feet, similarly, devotees also consider themselves honeybees and try to suck the nectar from the lotus feet of the Lord. Athavasya padambhoja makarandaliham satam kimanyair asadaalapair ayusho ayusho yadasadvyayaha. Yet asat vyayaha. Vyaya means expenditure. So our ayusha will be spent. Our lifespan will be wasted when we take interest in many other materialistic topics. But athavasya padam bhoja makaranda liham satam. Satam, devotees, they become saranga, seeking honeybees, and they relish the nectar at the lotus feet of the Lord. Feet are the lotus. Basically, they are eager to serve the Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavambav. Kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli. Your feet are like lotuses. May I become a dust particle at your lotus feet. What does it mean? Devotee is eager to lose one's existence. I become a dust particle. I merge into the existence of the Lord or effulgence of the Lord, or I become dust at the feet of the Lord. No, that becoming a dust particle is not like literally becoming a dust particle. Feet are the lowest part of the Lord's body, and you go under that feet as dust. Basically, you are humbling yourself and accepting Krishna's supremacy and giving up your own false ego and your own conception of being great, being the proprietor or master or enjoyer in this world, and humbling oneself in front of the Lord. So that humility, that humble service attitude is conveyed by this desire to become dust particle at the lotus feet of the Lord, or aspiring for the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord. So that's the mood in which it is conveyed. So devotees become bees and they want to take honey from the lotus feet of the Lord. What does that mean? It just basically means we want to relish your Harikatha and we want to serve your feet, and we want to give up our conception of being the doers or proprietors or masters of this material world. That's the mood. So the lotus feet of the Lord are so glorious because they are the origin of Ganga that can purify all the three planetary systems. Mhm. The Devatas in the previous chapters, they pray that Marganti yatte mukhapadmanidais chandah suparnai rishayo vimukte vivikte Yasyaghamarshod padam padam tirtha padah prapanna. You just compare the Lord with a nice tree, and the tree has root, the base, and there's a crown, means so many branches and leaves and flowers and fruits and twigs. So that crown. Now there are some birds, they fly and sit on the branches of the tree, the crown of the tree. And there are some travelers who are wandering in the forest. They want to know where are some trees so that I can take some rest. They follow the shadow of the birds. Following the shadow of the birds, they come to the root of the tree, right? So there is tree has root and tree has branches also. Birds will go on the branches and travelers will go at the root, right? And the travelers will follow the path of the birds and then reach the root of the tree. Okay, now you have compared the Lord with the tree, right? The Lord's lotus feet are compared with the roots of the tree. The Lord's lotus face is compared with the mouth of the Lord, the trunk of the crown of the tree, the branches. From the Lord's mouth, the Ganga of Gita emanates. From the Lord's mouth, his pure instructions are coming out in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Advanced devotees like these birds, or birds are like advanced devotees, they take shelter of the Lord's instructions in the form of Bhagavad Gita. And neophyte devotees are beginners, they take shelter of the tree's root, right? Means they take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, means they take bath in Ganga river to relieve themselves from sinful reactions, right? Of course, advanced devotees also can take bath in Ganga. Neophytes also can take bath in Ganga. Advanced devotees can read Bhagavad Gita. Neophytes also can read Bhagavad Gita. But the significance of this comparison is that uh, many people want to take bath in holy rivers to dump their sinful reactions in the holy rivers, right? They want to be relieved from sins. Therefore, they take bath in holy rivers like Ganga or any other river. But pure devotees or elevated or advanced devotees, they take shelter in the Lord's instructions and they want to follow the instructions of the Lord. They are not looking forward only to be relieved from uh, material distresses, but they want to follow the instructions coming from the mouth of the Lord. Just relieve me from sinful reactions and leave me alone. They don't say that. We want to follow your instructions. So that is their main thing. So we need to take shelter of those great devotees and not just be focused on relieving ourselves from sinful reactions, but also try to follow the instructions of the Lord. And those pure devotees who follow the instructions of the Lord, who imbibe the teachings of the Lord and implement them, those devotees have the ability to relieve even Ganga from all the sinful reactions dumped by sinful people who take bath in her waters. Clear? Ganga, before descending on this planet, asked Bhagirath, Bhagirath, how can I come to earthly planet? Many sinful people will take bath in my waters and dump all their sinful reactions. Then Bhagirath said, don't worry, my dear mother, Ganga. When pure devotees take bath in your waters, then automatically you will be relieved from all sinful reactions. Right? So that is the power of Satam. So the Lord's lotus feet emanate Ganga that can release everyone from sinful reactions. Another interesting aspect of the Lord's lotus feet. Uh, the first canto of Bhagavatam says, Ya vaila satshri tulasi vibhishra krishnanghirenvavyadhikambunitri. Ya vaila satshri tulasi mimishra. The Lord's lotus feet are the origin of Ganga. Uh, Thus, naturally, Ganga water contains the dust from Krishna's lotus feet. Not only dust from Krishna's lotus feet, Ganga water also contains the flavor of tulasi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet. Yavai lasat shri tulasi vimishra krishnangri rinvabyadhikambu netri. So when you take bath in Ganga, you get dust from Krishna's lotus feet and flavor of tulsi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet. And what is the potency of tulsi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet? तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द किञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसी मकरन्दवायुः अन्तर्गतः स्वविवरेण चकार तेषाम् Sanshobhamaksharajusham apichittatanvoh. Just by smelling the fragrance of tulsi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet, there was a transformation in the minds and in the hearts of four Kumaras. Earlier, they were having some impersonalistic tendencies and they became pure devotees now by smelling the aroma of tulsi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet. And those lotus feet are the ornaments of this earth. The gopis of Vrindavan say very beautifully. Vrindavanam sakhi bhuvo vitanoti kirtim yaddevaki sutapadambujalabdha lakshmi. The land of Vrindavan is expanding the glories of this earthly planet. Because in Vrindavan, Krishna walks barefoot. Krishna doesn't wear shoes in Vrindavan. In Vaikuntha, Krishna wears shoes, Vishnu wears shoes. Even in Dwarka, Dwarkadhish Krishna wears shoes. But in Vrindavan, Krishna doesn't wear shoes. So he's directly imprinting his lotus footprints on the earth. Vrindavanam Sakibhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim. Therefore, the planet Earth's glories are expanded throughout the universe because Krishna is walking barefoot in Vrindavan. Therefore, Vrindavan is the real ornament of earth, and Krishna's footprints are the ornament for Vrindavan. And all the gopis of Vrindavan become very concerned about Krishna's lotus feet. Pranata dehinam papakarshanam trinacharanugam sriniketanam Panifanarpitam te padambujam krunukucheshunah krindhi hrichayan. The gopis are saying, Pranata dehinam papakarshanam. If you offer pranams to the lotus feet of Krishna, then papakarshanam, all the sinful reactions are removed by that pranam to the lotus feet of the Lord. Pranata dehinam papakarshanam. Trinacharanugam Sriniketanam. Trinacharanugam. Trina is blade of grass. Trinachara means those who survive, subsist on that blade of grass, cows. Trinachara anugam. And Krishna follows the footsteps of these cows. Everybody wants to follow the footsteps of Krishna and his devotees, and Krishna is following the footsteps of cows. Trinacharanugam Sriniketanam Fanivarpitam Te Padambujam. These lotus feet of Krishna decorate the hoods of Kaliya. Fani Fana. Fani is that entity that has Fana. Fana means hoods. Fani means that entity that has hoods. You have these jackets, right? Some are called hoodies. There is a hood on top. Right? Yes. Fani Fana Arpitam. Fani Fana Arpitam. So the Lord has offered his divine lotus feet, lotus footprints to the hoods of Kaliya. Although you take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, although Krishna personally comes and keeps his lotus feet on your head, and even Krishna, if Krishna personally bathes you with the dust from your lotus feet, you cannot get mercy of Krishna without a devotee's mercy. You see this? This Fanifanarpitam te padambujam means this Kaliya got dust from Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna was sitting on his lotus feet. He was standing on his lotus feet. Every single hood of Kaliya is pressed by Krishna's divine footprints, but still Kaliya did not get mercy of Krishna. Only when Nagapatnis came and offered a prayer on Kaliya's behalf, then Krishna said, okay, fine, I'll forgive this Kaliya. You see? Therefore, taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet is great, very important. But not at the cost of ignoring shelter of devotees' lotus feet. That's why Uddhava said, Asamaho charana renu jushamaham syam Vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam Yadustyajam swajanamarya patham chahitva Bhejur mukunda padavim shrutibhirvimrugyam Asamaho charana renu jushamaham syam. Uddhava is not saying, Krishna, I want dust from your lotus feet. I want dust from the lotus feet of your devotees, the gopis. Charanarenu jushamaham syam. Vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam. If I go to the gopis and say, oh gopis, can you please give me dust from your lotus feet? They will not give. The Lord may give easily his dust, his lotus feet, but devotees will not give. Don't touch my lotus feet. They say my feet is cactus feet, not lotus feet. So Uddhava had an idea. You know what he said? If I ask the gopis for dust from their lotus feet, they will not give me. They consider me so exalted that I'm a prince from Mathura city, but they're innocent village girls, so they will not give. Therefore, I will become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. I will become a shrub or a bush in Vrindavan, so that without my asking, when they are walking, I get dust from their lotus feet. But if Krishna considers me so unqualified to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan, then I will become a blade of grass in the outskirts of Vrindavan. Sometimes, even rarely, the gopis may come little outside Vrindavan and keep their food there. Then I will get dust from the lotus feet of the gopis. That's how precious the dust from the lotus feet of devotees is. Yes, Krishna's lotus feet are precious. Dust from Krishna's lotus feet is extremely precious. But if there is something more precious, more powerful, that can give you access to Krishna's mercy, it is the dust from Krishna's lotus feet, uh, from devotees' lotus feet. That's why when exalted devotees are also praying to get association of devotees and shelter at the lotus feet of devotees so that eventually they can attain Krishna's lotus feet. So Krishna's meditation on Krishna's lotus feet is inspired by a devotee. When you take shelter of a devotee's lotus feet, then the devotee will say, take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So with that empowerment, with that inspiration, with that guidance, if we serve Krishna, then Krishna is accepting. Krishna will accept our service. Oh, this devotee is serving me under the authority of another devotee. So this so and so person is approaching me with the blessings and with the guidance of another devotee. Therefore, I take his service seriously. Hmm? So we cannot ignore devotees and approach the Lord directly. We need to go to Krishna through the devotees of Krishna. That is proved in so many episodes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, when you meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna under the guidance of a devotee, then what happens? Sanchintayed Bhagavatascharanarvindam Vajrankushadhvaja saroruhalanchanaadyam Uttunga rakta vilasan nakhachakravala Jyotsnabhirahatamahadhridayandhakaram. If you meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, the effulgence emanating from the toenails of the Lord will completely destroy the thick gloom of darkness of ignorance within our hearts. And if you meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, ध्यातुः मनः शैलनिसृष्टवज्रं ध्यायेच्चिरं भगवतश्चरणारविन्दम्. The mountain of sin in the heart of a meditator is destroyed. The meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord will act like a thunderbolt that can smash the mountain of our sin. That's the effect. Although the lotus feet of the Lord are so glorious in this way, in relieving us from sinful reactions, in destroying our ignorance, in bestowing knowledge upon us, in terminating our samsara, terminating our transmigration in from one body to another body. Still, Mother Yashoda and all the gopis are concerned about those lotus feet. What did they say? Gopi Gita has at least 4 or 5 shlokas that are just glorifying Krishna's lotus feet only. Anyone remembers? Somewhere towards the end of Gopi Gita, the gopis are saying that Chalati yadvrajacharayan pashun Nalina sundaram nathate padam Trinacharang purai shidati tinaha Kalilatam manah kanta gacchati. Chalasi advrajat, my dear Lord. You are just walking on the in the pathways of the forests of Vrindavan. Charayan pashun, tending your cows. Then Nalina Sundam Nathate Padam. Your feet are so delicate, so fragile that we become so anxious thinking that your feet may be pierced by all these thorns and pebbles and sharp rocks on the pathways. Kalilatam manaha kanta gacchati. Kalilatam manaha. Our minds get agitated completely. We cannot stay calm. We cannot stay cool. As you are walking in the forests of Vrindavan. Then Ayodhyavasis, just thinking that Lord Ramachandra is walking in Dandakaranya forest, they faint. Lord Ramachandra's lotus feet are so tender that they cannot even bear the touch of the fingers of Sita Devi. Mother Sita is massaging the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, just like Lakshmi Devi massages the lotus feet of Vishnu in the spiritual world in Vaikuntha. Janudvayam jala jalochanaya jananya Lakshmya khilasya suravanditaya vidhatu. So she is pressing the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Similarly, Janaki is pressing the lotus feet of Ram, and Ram's feet become reddish, cannot bear the touch. Right? And those lotus feet are walking in Dandakaranya forest. Oh, thinking like this, the Ayodhya voices a faint. Bhagavatam says this, ninth canto. So this is how tender the lotus feet of the Lord. You want some appreciation for the tenderness and sweetness of the Lord? Then read the descriptions of Krishna's lotus feet in 10th canto Bhagavatam, especially in Gopi Git. And you want the power or greatness of Krishna's lotus feet of the Lord? Read the third canto. Read the sixth canto. How meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord can destroy the mountain of our sin, can destroy the darkness of our ignorance, can destroy our ignorance, induce knowledge, give protection from all disturbances. So this is the glory of Krishna's lotus feet. When we approach those lotus feet of Krishna, following the footsteps of devotees' lotus feet, that's the purpose of life. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.